Good morning. It's April 10th, 2023. Just coming off a long weekend. Thanks to Judas, it's the Monday after Zombie Jesus Day. On my way to work. Surprisingly tired. So I went down the shore for the weekend. The boardwalk, Wildwoods. And we left all the animals at home. We gave them sufficient food and water. Currently, if you've been following, you know I have 4 new ducks. I've got 3 adult ducks, which we have outside in a duck coop with a run, and we bought 4 new ducks. Sorry if it's hard to hear me. We bought 4 new ducks, and we're pretty sure one is a Pekin, and I have no idea what the other 3 are. My wife keeps telling me, but I can't remember. I didn't realize there were so many names for breeds of ducks and chickens and things like that. But we had them. We got a 5-gallon. The new ducks are inside because they're young. We bought them at like a day or 2 old a while ago, and we were keeping them in a storage tub, like a Sterilite storage tub. I don't know what size, like one of those really big ones. Yeah, that was fine for a couple of hours, but they double in size every couple of seconds, so that only lasted for a few days. So now they're in a 150-gallon like Rubbermaid tote that we get from it's basically a pond or some kind of giant feeding trough you get from Tractor Supply. 150-gallon tub. That's what they're in currently, and we're going to convert that into a pond once they become outside ducks. So anyway, the point to the story is we went away and we made sure that the cats and birds and frogs and things, all the various animals we have in the house, it's quite a menagerie, were fed. Like we set up bulk feeders for the ducks. We bought a new, because we were going to be gone for 2 days, we were afraid that the 3-liter, well, we knew that the 3-liter water would not be sufficient to keep them hydrated for 2 days. So we went out intending to get a second one, but found a 5-gallon waterer, automatic water thing. It's like a big dome of water on top with the spout at the bottom and a big red rim around it. So as they drink water, if it goes below the spout, it refills. It's got a cap on top. You can take that off and fill it, and a little cap for the nozzle, so when you're filling it, all the water doesn't come out until you put the top back on. Anyway, extremely long story, slightly shorter. At some point while we were gone, the waterer gave way. All the water drained out somehow. So we came home to poor little duckies being like belly deep in mucky water with the pine shreddings in the water and the poo. It was a mess. It was a couple inches deep, and I'm not sure when it happened. I have a clue. I think I have a suspicion as to how it happened. I don't think the seal gave way. I think what happened is because I noticed the water in the dome gets dirty, because the way it works is when the water gets below the nozzle, it starts to feed out. It lets out more water, but since there's no inlet other than the nozzle itself, it also sucks in air. I think what may have happened is one of the wood chips, the ducks are of course very messy, I think one of the wood chips got sucked into the nozzle and created a, there's no surface tension, no thing anymore. Once the wood chip got in there, I think the thing just kept draining and overflowed the thing and let whatever was left of the 5 gallons run into the tank. So we got home from the shore, discovered that immediately, had to put the ducks outside. We have a little run. We usually use it for the cats, but we can move it around, and we sometimes use it for the baby ducks. So we ran the 4 ducks outside, put them in the run. I had to, it's a 150-gallon tote. We keep it in the office, which is a really bad idea because the ducks are very dusty and dust gets on everything. I've got an air cleaner and a fan with a filter on it going in that room, and that can't even keep up with the dust they generate. But it's a short-term issue. They'll be outside ducks soon enough. So we get the ducks outside, take their water thing, clean up all the accoutrements that are in with the ducks, and then we have to take the tote out. Well, the tote, it's a 150-gallon tote. It doesn't fit through the door upright. You have to turn it on its side, and you can't turn it on its side when it's full of water and pine shavings and duck poo. So I had to scoop all that out into buckets, take that outside, compost it, so that we could turn the 150-gallon tub on its side, get it through the office to the outside, hose it out, dry it up, bring it back in, and send the ducks back up. If that is what happened, I have a solution, pretty simple solution. I have multiple pieces of netting. I've got netting, screening for replacement screens. I also have mesh sink drain covers, which I'm going to, I didn't do it today. I did check on the ducks this morning to make sure disaster has not struck again, and it has not as of yet, so they're happy ducks. But I have a couple solutions so that if what I think happened, it won't happen again. And I am really very sure that it was a piece of debris that got into the nozzle and just stopped it from, just caused a siphon issue. I mean, it's either that or the seal just gave way, but I just can't see that happening. It's pretty solid. Like I said, I let it sit overnight, and in fact, yesterday before we went to bed, I noticed that a piece of pine shaving had already worked its way to the nozzle. It wasn't leaking, but I noticed that it had already sucked a piece of pine shaving up that quickly. So I am very, very sure that that's the situation, that it sucked up a piece of pine shaving, and that's why the 5-gallon water bottle let loose over the weekend at some point. Poor little yellow duck was very exhausted once we got him set. He was very, very tired. I suspect it was probably a full day that they were probably dealing with the water situation, but no way of knowing. We took them outside, gave them baths, redid their bedding, and now they're happy ducks again. How was your weekend? I know I haven't made one of these in a while. I think it's been a few weeks since I made one of these videos. Like I said, I don't really have any content. I haven't, I've been very busy with work and things like that, so I haven't had a chance to do any of the things that I promised I would do. The binoculars, the card trick, the whole nine, all the mirror thing I want to do for my buddy. It's amazing how that stuff just keeps getting pushed to the back burner because I have absolutely no free time. Even this weekend felt rushed. Days go flying by. They say that time goes faster as you get older. What they mean to say is it seems to go faster as you get older. And it's absolutely true. I remember when I was a wee lad. I remember summers lasting for eternity. And now the first third of the year, the first quarter is completely gone. The first third of the year seemed to go by in a couple of weeks. Amazing how quickly it just flitters away. We were talking to a friend of ours. We were talking about maybe visiting her at some point over the summer, coming down for a weekend. We have this overly what do you call it? overly ambitious trip. We're talking about going to Central PA to visit my aunt, and then going to West Virginia to look at property, and then going down to North Carolina to visit our friend, and then coming back to Pennsylvania to go back to work. Obviously, we would probably take a week off to do all this, but it sounds like too much to me. I don't even want to go to work today. Very tired. Did a lot of walking. While we were down in Wildwood, we did what people do, collected shells and did some silly stuff. Like we collected there was a very intact horseshoe crab shell. It had been gotten, I guess, by the seagulls and stuff like that. But the shell, the three segments of the shell, the big helmet part, the middle part, and the tail were all intact. We collected that. Brought all the shells and things home, and I washed everything pretty thoroughly in the sink. And I thought it was a good idea to put them in the oven at about 160 degrees for a couple of hours to just sanitize them. Turns out that was a bad idea. I think I cracked almost every shell that was in there. They all cracked, unfortunately. I don't know if the temperature came up too fast, if I had done it more evenly, but I think in the future, I'm at least going to do an experiment. I'm going to try boiling the shells instead of baking them to see if I have less, or just be happy with scrubbing them and not throw them in the oven. I wanted to throw them in the oven specifically because the horseshoe crab, even though it was pretty cleaned out by the little beasties, still, kind of gross. So I figured baking it at a sanitizing temperature would do what it needed to do, and then I would just scrub it afterwards. Casual observance, that actually seems to be in pretty good shape. But it still smells. I open up the oven and I still smell that, rotten horseshoe crab smell, which is a bit on the gross side. So I have to scrub it and then maybe boil that as well. I fully expect it to become disarticulated, meaning that the three sections won't be connected anymore, and I'll reattach them with brass wire or something like that. I figure if I can get it clean and not stinky, it'll be something for Cassie to paint. She likes to paint things. Against my better judgment, I am going to get some coffee because I'm mad tired. There's some kind of goofy sign at the parking lot at the end of Hand Street in Wildwood. It's I guess what it's supposed to say is no walking or something like that, but it's a very strange stick man in a bizarre pose. And I shared a picture of Cassie standing next to the do not pose like this sign, posing exactly like that. It's very, very, very funny. Hi, could I have a large black coffee, please?
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You too. Thanks. So they've done it again. The lid to my coffee, the spout where you drink out of, is lined up with the seam of the cup, which is no good. It will trip all over you if they line it up that way. It's almost like they're doing it on purpose. It was perfectly aligned. So let's spin that around. Can you see how tired I am? It's a little creepy. Jeez. Hopefully you're just listening to this and not watching. I'm one creepy looking fella. Still not happy with the whole cup holder setup. I don't like. I hate it when people take videos in this vertical orientation. I don't like that aspect ratio. I like it to be wider. But the problem is I don't have a holder for my phone that allows me to do that yet. Old one's still broken, hasn't healed yet. Like I said, I could probably make it work, but it would be short-lived, I think. You don't care, you've already heard about the whole phone holder ordeal in a previous video. So as soon as I can get a new one, I will. My old car had a good dashboard for, I had a 2010 Subaru. I'm currently driving a 2019, 2020 Outback. My old one was an Outback, this one's an Outback. Relatively new. Like my wife's got a 2018. I know mine's newer than hers because I got that whole infotainment center here. She doesn't have that. So this is like, it's at least a 19. I'm not sure what year it is. 19, 20, 21, something. What was my point? Oh, so she still has the dashboard where the way the other side of the steering wheel is set up, it's perfect. So if you turn on your GPS or anything like that, you can just sit your phone right there. It just sits there nicely. It's not designed for that, but it just happens to sit there nicely. Can't do that with this car. It just there's no shelf for it. Like the way it's designed, the shelf that's here, the phone won't really fit on because it angles this towards you from at the top, so it'll just knock your phone over. And if I try to rest on the steering wheel, it'll just fall to the left or the right. So it's not a good place to set up a camera or to rest your phone or do anything. So you're stuck over there for now. Pardon me, I'm sorry. It's weird. Oh, that's better. The moon. A few days ago, it was a full moon. It looks very. I get up early, so it looked very large on the horizon as I was leaving my house. Now it's a slightly smaller moon. When I do these, like I said, it's been a few weeks since I was doing these. I'm probably just going to do one today because I really don't have anything to talk about, but I feel bad that I haven't put one of these out in a while. I don't know who I feel bad for. I don't have an audience. There's like this one guy who watches them because he told me to make them, so I guess when they show up in his feed, he watches them. I put a couple of non-driving videos up. I haven't uploaded one to the afternoon channel in a while. Like I kept uploading to this one, I think, for a few days longer than I was uploading to the drive home videos. Again, I'm pressed for content. It's I don't have time to prepare. I know, like I said, my buddy who told me to do these told me to tell my rambling stories, and it's difficult this early in the morning. I have no will to live, let alone desire to fabricate a rambling story. I think I've told the bulk of the really good stories, the true stories about like things that have happened in the past. I could rehash those, but what's the point? Just go listen to those old videos. Although I guess I could do a better retelling. It's funny, like the interesting things that happen, like the stories about DC and stuff like that. They happen, but when they're happening, at least in my experience, when they're happening to you, even though they seem like interesting stories in retrospect, you don't really care that much. So like there's no fine detail, like the kind of stuff that normal people know. Like it just amazes me that people can remember dates and things like that when things happened. It's like I don't know. It's a couple years ago, I was driving down to DC and a bunch of people pointed guns at me, and it's like I don't know. I don't even know what month it was, let alone the date. I mean, I can do the research. Like I have enough information that I could probably pinpoint at least the month, maybe not the day. I could probably pinpoint the day, and those little details make stories more, I don't know, more believable. These ones don't need to be believable. They're true. I don't care whether people believe them or not. It's what happened. But without context, this probably seems very confusing because you don't know what stories I'm talking about. Two stories in particular. The one story when they were looking for the Beltway shooter, they thought I was the Beltway shooter, and I got pulled over by like 17 cops. And they all had guns trained on me for a while. It was a great story. I lived, and the other good DC story was, I think it was the Brentwood. I can't remember the name of the post office, but I think it was the Brentwood post office when the not SARS, the stuff you get from goat fur or those seeds. What was that white powder? Damn it. Anyway, there was that poisoning at the the letter that ended up at the post office with the white powder that had the disease in it. You had to take Cipro. That was another story about DC that involved me. And again, like I said, I can't remember the fine details. I can't even remember what the freaking poison was. What the hell was that? Too damn tired. Anyway, those are two of my good stories. I think they're both in a single video I published like maybe the end of last year, beginning of this year. The CDC was harassing me for months, telling me that they needed to send me Cipro. I'm like, no, I'm not taking your crazy pills, you wacky bastards. Oh crap, we're already at the 23-minute mark. I'm sorry. I'm going to end this and start another one. I'm not exactly sure if I'll publish the second one. I'll publish this one. But have a wonderful day.